What's up with it? What's up with it, man? Y'all heard that? It's the Bronco with the Frog coming back again with another reaction video. We got I miss WWE SmackDown Live 2016. I ain't gonna lie. I stopped watching. I used to be a diehard WWE fan from what 2005, not 2005, 2006 to like 2008. When they first turned HD, like around 2010, I stopped watching, and then I went to WrestleMania 31 and got back into it. So this was around the time where I actually got back into wrestling. And I ain't gonna lie, SmackDown Live 2016, hey, there was some good wrestling. It actually had me tuned in every week. So this video is I miss WWE SmackDown Live 2016. We finna see what this man miss about it, man.
Wrestling has been on a steady decline since the end of the Attitude Era.
Facts.
The overall product has gone downhill in terms of ratings, a sense of urgency, and most important of them all, storytelling. Vince McMahon even noticed this and set up a draft back in 2002.
That's what I love.
Too much talent and not enough.
That's when I stopped watching when they got rid of the WWE draft and merged, and Raw and SmackDown was the same. They both had the same stock stage, the little HD stuff. It was the same stage, but different logos. That's when I stopped watching. I need the shows to be different, bro. I need Raw and SmackDown to be different.
Enough time for the entire roster. This is where WWE starts to get good again. Wrestlers on SmackDown were the underdogs. Raw was clearly always the favorite.
I was always a SmackDown guy
SmackDown roster
because I didn't have cable.
To prove. With a group of hungry stars and Paul Heyman running the show as the head of the creative team, SmackDown was unstoppable. The show flourished. WWE now had a ton of new stars with Eddie Guerrero,
Cena. Look at Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is a GOAT, bro.
Kurt Angle, just to name some stars.
This man has on a Tim Duncan jersey.
Competing with each other to prove to the WWE universe who had the better show. It seemed like proof to the WWE.
Look how small Brock Lesnar was compared to now. This dude, it looks tiny. That's crazy. That's what them roids do, man. Them roids.
Who had the better show? It seemed like wrestling was getting better again. The vibe from the Attitude Era was coming back. And all of a sudden, things changed and the entire focus was shifted back to Raw being the flagship show in 2005. SmackDown felt like the annoying little brother. WWE even ended the brand split in 2012 when they created the Raw Super
That's when
Show.
That's when I stopped watching. When they made Raw 3 hours. Nope.
Of talent like before.
No, sir.
The roster was getting thinner and it couldn't last on its own. Things did change in 2016 when the company went on a rampage to sign a bunch of wrestlers. Vince McMahon wanted to shake things up again.
I remember this when Shane McMahon returned.
I was a huge fan of this because draft shows are usually the best, and I'm always interested to see where's.
I don't like this superstar shakeup stuff. Just call it the draft, bro. The superstar shakeup was super lame, and the fact that y'all had to get, the fact that because of the Fox deal, you tried to make it seem like it was a real sport and stuff like that. No, that was lame. Stick with what worked.
Someone is going. So WWE gave Raw the huge names like Roman Reigns.
Yes, sir. Roman Reigns. That's my favorite wrestler.
Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor.
That boy a dog, man. You may hate him, but he a dog.
Time to the younger generation of superstars. These were talented stars that Vince McMahon really wasn't a big fan of. The Miz, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Becky Lynch, and AJ Styles were the faces of the brand.
And it's crazy because Dean Ambrose out doing his thing. In AEW, John Moxley. You got Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. You got AJ is AJ. You know, this may be like second tier for Vince McMahon, but look at the talent that you got on the screen right now. Becky Lynch in the back, she had her little her little blow up moment, her little uprising. But yeah, man, that was a stacked roster. Besides Dolph Ziggler, nobody likes it. Well, I don't like Dolph Ziggler. He lame to me, but hey.
A part-time John Cena was only the really big name that they got because, you know, he was a part-timer, so they didn't really care too much. Regardless of the
Jason Jordan, my boy the Usos.
Raw should have been the better show, but SmackDown's group of wrestlers were exactly the same as the 2003 roster. They were hungry and they were ready to prove to the wrestling world which were a better unit of wrestlers.
Baron Corbin when he had hair.
SmackDown was a massive success. My love for wrestling came back during this time period. I was watching consistently and I was enjoying it for the first time in a very long time. I never thought I'd see the day when this would happen. Today, I will be talking about the things that made SmackDown so special around this time. SmackDown was genius and it needs to be praised, and I honestly miss it so much.
Yep, I do too, man.
One of the biggest selling points of SmackDown Live in 2016 was the fact that it would be the show that presented more opportunities to their talent.
And they did.
WWE did this to make the show feel more important and different from
You know, Raw was all Roman, man.
SmackDown the underdog show. So many people were able to find success on the blue brand. AJ Styles became a household name.
Facts.
Bray Wyatt's career was rebuilding after they pretty much destroyed it in the previous 3 years. Heath Slater was given a ton of TV time.
Heath Slater and Rhino was the first SmackDown champs. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. I remember Heath Slater, you know, he had the crowd behind him, really.
Becky Lynch started to gain a bigger following after winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss flourished into a superstar. The Miz was able to demonstrate his abilities.
That boy, The Miz, that dude had a real big come up.
Main event scene. Baron Corbin was becoming WWE's next top superstar. American Alpha was the next babyface tag.
I never liked American Alpha.
Usos managed to
Usos, yeah, Usos was my favorite tag team.
It's clear
that boy James Ellsworth. Now that's a character right there. That's a character.
That WWE was not afraid to take some risk on SmackDown. In return, they managed to create new stars. Most people on Raw wanted to be on SmackDown if they weren't really featured on television because they knew it'd be a great opportunity to grow and develop. What seemed like a lackluster roster really shined over the months. And the way that SmackDown was really making the roster stand out is by telling
his head. That's from when Brock Lesnar had he had that match with Brock Lesnar.
In charge, and he clearly knew how to write.
Look at Simon Gotch. Now he was lame. American Alpha and the little other dudes that they find was lame.
Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch was a storyline that went on for about 3, 4, maybe 5 months. I don't really know the exact number, but there were some twists and turns that pushed the story forward.
Get Mickey James, my baby Mickey James came back.
Becky's back to Mickey James making her surprise return was enough to keep you invested. In the Intercontinental Championship picture, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler was a textbook
his finishing move go hard
between two people. I think this was actually my favorite story of the year. Additionally, the IC title had some serious resurgence and became the second most important title in the company. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose and John Cena, respectively, were some great feuds as well.
Dean Ambrose WWE character, I never really got behind him like that.
Benefited in the rivalries.
He got his John Moxley got like more than the whole lunatic thing, man. That was so corny.
Angles between people in the lower and mid card division. Heath Slater trying to win a contract for his 20 kids was a funny but relatable story. The fans resonated with him.
It's not relatable with me, but
joining the Wyatt family might have seemed random at first, but over time,
it was pretty random.
Orton did this to slowly burn down Bray Wyatt's life and ruin it.
You could kind of tell that he was gonna turn on him as soon as he joined.
And Natalya were also
that didn't even seem right. Like Randy Orton and the Wyatt family.
Unfolding in a nice way. Another great addition to this brand was the continuity within the storylines. SmackDown did a fantastic job at remembering the past storylines and connecting them with the new ones. For instance, AJ Styles used a low blow tactic to win his title, and then Dean Ambrose targeted his sweet spot for the next month because he wouldn't forget or forgive Styles for doing that. Then you had The Miz, who blew up on Daniel Bryan after an episode of
I remember that because SmackDown had went to Dallas.
The two would go on to feud on screen.
Then I went to that show after The Miz went off on Talking Smack.
Winning the tag team championships with Randy Orton, always kept an eye out on Randy Orton because he knew that he couldn't trust him. He knew that Randy was a viper who turns on pretty much everybody. SmackDown was writing storylines up until WrestleMania. That is pretty obvious. They had long-term storytelling that had continuity. It was the first time we were watching this. They were not consistently changing and rewriting everything just minutes before the show. The continuity was a breath of fresh air. It has since then disappeared, but it was good while it lasted. I think continuity is one of the most important functions of a show because it results in generating returning visitors.
That's facts.
This is why the ratings were increasing at a steady rate to the point where they even beat Raw.
Yup, that makes sense. I didn't really like Talking Smack. I didn't watch it anyway.
Concepts introduced in the WWE. SmackDown wanted to continue and develop more storylines and progress a character's personality. With only 2 hours of live television a week, some superstars...
That's another thing that made SmackDown better. It was only 2 hours. 3 hours drag on a long time, man.
Went ahead and tried something.
Them 2 hours go by quick compared to Raw.
SmackDown on the WWE Network called Talking Smack. This was
I ain't really like Talking Smack, so I'm finna go on and skip ahead.
People seem so genuine.
The Miz,
and they also took advantage of this moment.
The Miz was a big part of SmackDown. The Miz is that boy. He got the best, one of the best mic skills.
During this time period, there are two main pillars that really made SmackDown thoroughly entertaining, and The Miz is one of those guys. The work he was doing was absolutely mind-blowing. In my honest opinion, I thought he was ready to become the WWE Champion right after AJ Styles. The Miz was the best at telling stories.
He was.
And cutting promos.
The Miz is a genius on the mic, man.
About that. He really lived up to the hype of his catchphrase, "When my hand goes up,
your mouth goes shut." Yes,
I
sir.
would literally not want to miss a single word that came out of his mouth. The Miz made everything believable when he would speak. He was able to take the viewer out of their living room and make them forget that this is just a television show. The man was just that good. And Maurice was also a great underrated addition that only made his act better. I do wish we can get this kind of Miz someday again in the future, because I would be interested.
You don't act like that no more. I haven't watched it since the no crowd thing happened. I haven't been watching.
Knock it out of the park.
AJ Styles definitely a cornerstone in carrying SmackDown.
The other main pillar of SmackDown Live around this time was the rise of AJ Styles.
The face that runs the the champ that it was one of those. The face that runs the place, or the champ that it was one of them.
In my opinion, Styles was able to put on a good match with anybody that came to him. He was coming off a hot feud with Roman Reigns and John Cena and had a ton of momentum. WWE clearly was ready to get him in the main event picture. The brand split is the only reason he was able to get this opportunity. Watching him wrestle was the best thing about SmackDown at this time.
Yeah, AJ Styles was a dog in wrestling. He can wrestle his ass off.
Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin, John Cena, or even James Ellsworth, AJ Styles.
I like that. I love that. I remember when AJ Styles put James Ellsworth in a little Styles class, and he saved James Ellsworth from breaking his neck.
A little bit older and slower in the ring, but I'm happy that I was able to witness this man put on great matches and feuds. SmackDown Live was clearly the best show in 2016. These underdog wrestlers managed to push and persevere. They became the better brand and what I believe to be the best wrestling we've seen since 2011.
Yep.
SmackDown Live was an absolute blast to watch. The nostalgia really does hit me when I think of this time period because I just entered college, starting off my first semester.
Well, I ain't
my
just entered
YouTube channel
college.
was doing really well. And
I was about
also,
to graduate in
wrestling was fun to
2016.
watch again. These were the simple times.
Well, this was probably like my junior year, going into senior year. Beginning of my senior or end of my junior year.
I don't have and live those memories one more time. And that is it for the video, guys. Thank you.
Yep, that's it for the video here. I do also miss SmackDown Live 2016 because I don't really watch it anymore. The no crowd pretty much ruined it for me, so I don't really have that same passion to watch it. But like, comment, subscribe, comment down below which one we react to next. I'm out.